Hello guys, welcome back once again to Leopard Bookshop. We are again in the series Advent of Code and we're on day 3, challenge 1. So let's get started. This challenge is called Rucksack Reorganization. So you want to read this challenge? I'm not going to read it just to save time. There's the answer, but please stick around for the explanation, it's good. So let's move to the code. So we're listing some variables as always just at the top here. I'm going to explain some of them, but some of them will explain themselves later on down in the code. Score, we've been using this throughout the past challenges. This is just going to collect the score. It's not called score, it's called the priorities, but I'm calling it score in this challenge. You can call it whatever you want. Length, I will explain this later, and halfway I will also. A string, B string, and all the rest will also explain themselves later. So the first thing we're going to do is, as always, read the input. You want to get your challenge input. Here it is. I'll just call it rucksacks, but you can call it whatever you want. Here it is. It's quite long, as always. I also recommend importing test. This test is just the small amount of example they give you. This is just so you can test it on the small one before going to the big one. When you're using test to test it, just put that here. So open it as E, that's all fine. RPS here, this variable doesn't matter as long as you change it for here and here. For example, this is still the same from the last challenge, rock, paper, scissors, RPS, but you can change this to rucksacks, as long as you change it here. This is the only time it is referred to. For line in RPS, line equals line.strip, this just clears it out. If line does not equal blank, want to I equals 0, this is explained later on again, guys. You do need to put this here again, because otherwise it will not work. You need to reset it in this if. Print line, this is just going to allow us have one of the lines printed. All this else will explain itself. Now can you find halfway, because in the challenge you would have seen that the first rucksack contains the first half and the second half. This is what these two prints here are. This is the first half, this is the second half. To find halfway, we're first going to find the length. This is what this variable here is for. We are going to use a function called len, guys. Len just finds the amount of something. In this case, it's line. So in line, this is going to find how many characters there are. Line is one line. So it's going to find maybe that there are 20 characters, for example. Halfway is just len line divided by 2. You could also write length divided by 2. We do need the variable length here, guys. You could just have this on its own to find halfway, but later on it's good to have the length variable. We're going to print halfway. This is this variable just here. So this string is made up of 22 characters, because that's double 11. Don't worry about the 0.0. Now we're going to define these A string and B string variables just here. A string is going to be line, open bracket, 0:int halfway. So what this does, this defines A string as line, which is the current line we're at. And then it goes from 0, which is character 1. It always starts on 0 in tables. And you have to put int just to make halfway an int, because it's currently a string. You have to put int or it will not work. You go up to halfway. So this is going to give us, in A string, the first half of the line. Then B string is halfway to the total length. This is why we need length, guys. So it's halfway to total length. That will give us the other half of the code. Then we print A string, B string, and you can see them printed right here. The next thing we're going to do in this code is find the common letter. I hope you're up with me here, guys. So we're now going to define a for loop for letter in a string. So a string is the first half of the line. So for every letter in a string, we're going to use the variable we set up here, search letter. We're also going to use search answer and char number here. So the search letter is going to be the first letter. Why do we need to know the first letter? Because we need to know what the letter is to find out what the priority is, which is calculated in the number that we put in. So it's going to go to the first letter in a string. In this case, that's M, which it prints here. It's going to set search letter to a string I. I is currently at 0, which means it's going to choose the first letter, but I will increase by 1 every time. You'll see that later. And this means we'll slowly move our way through the letters. I can be whatever letter you want. Then we're going to print the search letter. You can see that done here. Then we're going to define search answer as bstring.find search letter. So find just finds something in a string or table. So bstring, this is bstring right here. We're going to find what the search letter is. If it has got the search letter in, so if bstring has got the search letter, in this case M, it will print 1, 2, 3, etc. It will print 1 if there is 1 lowercase m, 2 if there's 2, 3 if there's 3, etc. If it can't find it, it will print a -1. You can see here, we've got N, couldn't find it, -1. I equals 1, ignore that. W, -1, it couldn't find any of these until it gets to C. And then you can put 1, so there's 1 C in here, and that is the common letter. The next part is if the search answer is not, that's what exclamation mark equals is not -1, i.e. the duplicate letter has been found, then char number equals odd search letter. So guys, this is complicated. Each letter has a character number. And the character number is different whether it's uppercase or lowercase. This is how we're going to find out what the letter is. And we also need to know, because we're going to find out if it's lowercase or uppercase as well. So, we've got char number equals odd finds the character number from a letter, search letter. If the char number is more than 91, this is because the highest uppercase letter char number is 90, and uppercase and lowercase letters are above 90. For example, A is 97. So if it's above 91, then it's going to be a lowercase letter. Score plus equals char number minus 96. Why do we have 96 here? It says right here. For example, the A character number is 97, and the score we need to get for A is 1. It says that in the text, guys. So 97 minus 1 equals 96, which means that's the number we need to subtract. If it's not bigger than 91, that means it must be an uppercase letter, because it's smaller than 91. So you do score, add the char number minus 38. We find this in the same way. Capital A is character number is 65. You need to get a score of 27. So 65 minus 27 equals 38. You then break. So we move on to the next line. So if the search letter has not been found, if I is less or equal to halfway, Because if it's more than halfway, it will be an error, guys, because it will not be able to find the letter that corresponds to I, because it will be out of reach. Then you add one to I, so it moves on to the next letter, and then you print I equals string I. You can see that here and here. If it's bigger than halfway, then you break and move on. But you should never get into this else, guys, because if you have, that means there's no duplicate letter. But if you don't have this here, the code breaks. Then you just put the score at the end, and you can see if you go all the way down here, the score is 7785. So that's exactly how you do it, guys. Remember, guys, I do take suggestions for videos, so if you want to know anything, just pop it down in the comments below and I'll get round to it. I hope this has been helpful. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell for more of these videos. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.